Lord, welcome back to the CCL. Hope we didn't startle you there. We've got one more set to go, though, tonight. 11 o'clock hour is prime time for Western Conference action. My hold shift with me is Proper, also known as Alan and Andy. We're at the AA battery. We haven't pulled that one out in some time. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's been a while.
Right.
But this one has been one that we've been waiting for. You know, the UT Dallas squad coming into it, rated number 18 to the top 25, currently going up against the number 1 team in the ratings. Now, I think 3 weeks in a row. It's Texas A&M Maroon, the Aggies coming out, and that's, again, a squad that's very, very scary as you take a look at their roster of what they have to provide here from Texas A&M. You're going to recognize a couple of these names here pretty quickly because they have some world championship experience dating as recently as last year.
Yeah, I mean, like, just from names alone is going to be a scary standpoint, too. I mean, just go ahead and read them off as we set up the scene for you guys. I mean, D'Lo and Landon alone should be enough star power to be leading this team, as well as you also have, what's this, Luke, TK?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to end up calling him Luke is there as well. And then you also have Loathing, and John can be quite troublesome for UT Dallas. UT Dallas, we know, have been putting in the work shift. You and I both talked to one named Mr. J Pistachio, and they've been very talkative as far as how much work that their team of UT Dallas have been putting in. You think that's going to be enough against this stacked Texas A&M Maroon squad?
It's going to be tough to ask, I think, just generally speaking, when you're dealing with players that have as much experience as Texas A&M does. You know, you have to be looking to, like, you have to play at a world championship caliber. And when you're a squad of 5 individuals that happen to go to the same university, a lot of the time it's just, who are the best 5 players we can find that go to our school? And that's the case currently for UT Dallas. Now, again, not to be really distracted by it, because, again, like you mentioned, Mr. J Pistachio, Nate Fiasco, both very solid players. You're also looking at Cocaine, who's been a very, very big SMG player for them. Oh, yeah. They have the capabilities individually to hold their own, if not be better than the majority of players in the CCL. But when you're dealing with 2 world championship qualified players, that's a totally different ballgame.
Well, we're going to have to see how that ball game plays out. Let's go ahead and take a look at our map set for this final game, Game 4 of our 3rd week. Going to be starting off here, Hardpoint Hackney Yard. Search and Destroy Gun Runner. Hackney Yard Domination will be coming back into play. Azir Cave Hardpoint. And Search and Destroy Arcloth Peak if need be. Only one true long-range map, M4 map being the Azir Cave. I mean, that map 4 and 5, if we even need to get there. But are you talking about Cocaine and their SMG play? A Hackney Yard Gun Runner. And we'll Hackney Yard Domination. That's going to be where they're going to have to shine through.
Absolutely the case. And I think if you're looking at this series layout for UT Dallas, you want to extend this series as long as possible to give yourselves a chance. Again, you know, D'Lo, he electrified, I think, the amateur scene last year, was kind of coming out of nowhere and being a massive SMG impact. We had a chance to cast him a number of different times at Checkmate Gaming, and then he also showed up and really put on a showcase throughout his time at the World Championship stage, of course, playing for that Vanity Alliance squad that unfortunately did not have as great of a team performance as they would have liked. But in my mind, D'Lo still capitalized on what was a very successful Black Ops 4 year, and now going into this Modern Warfare season. Again, a lot to be proved here as you're taking a look at the rest of the rosters as they load up. But Tosca's there, as I think he's actually subbing in for Luke, who wasn't able to make it. And then you've got Mr. J Pistachio that's currently with Nate Fiasco, like I mentioned, but Cocaine is also going to be leading up the SMG charge with Putrid Orange and Inviage, and it will be, again, the favorite side early often to Texas A&M, who will be, again, the colors a little bit backwards here. They'll be in the orange to start.
Gonna have the AR peeking over the mid from the police car. We'll go down. That's Loathing. Big kill from Mr. J Pistachio, and this is going to be make or break here for UT Dallas. Yes, the colors are backwards, but the team names are correct. Look at this flood coming in from UT Dallas, already hovering inside. P1 here, Shift. This is absolutely stellar execution from Texas Dallas, and that's what you want to see from all this practice.
Oh, and I absolutely love this as well. The fact that off the respawn, they still keep flooding into the warehouse, saying, you know what?
Amazing.
The chances of us breaking this P2 setup is going to be pretty difficult off the rip anyways. Let's see what we can do to get some early time here. Loathing will try to trade his aim up top, but his shots aren't quite there. Landon, though, able to find 2 more, and that's enough for this Texas A&M squad to start working their way back towards the hard point, but they've only found 7 seconds worth of time so far, and UT Dallas will come out the victors of this initial hill unless they can find a way to potentially even break the backside of this OE. They're looking for the rotation through the office and the middle. Justify is here for one, has an opportunity for a second, but is getting shot from behind. But Putrid Orange is the only player to really find a significant kill. And so Texas A&M will actually tie the game up and maintain the setup for P2.
That's right. He spawns all the way out towards yellow for Texas Dallas. They're going to have to work their way through mid, where D-Lo is covering that scoop with their MP5. Can they get the second? They can't. Mr. J Pistachio will trade out their life. However, going to be massive hill time going in the favor for Texas A&M Maroon. See the spawns now on the other side of office. Trying to get the kills to come through. Texas Dallas might just have to scrap all of P2, count their spawns. We will be going over to Smokestack sometime soon.
And you're going to be hearing this buzzing every now and again kind of flying overhead. You know, I didn't expose it yesterday, but Mr. J Pistachio is bringing the EMP drone into battle today. It's not something we've seen often, and I think your reaction is what most people have, but it does give you a free ping of the map, so the information might play pivotal. Loathing will find 1 kill. Looking for a second will be snapped back on by Mr. J Pistachio, who will double up and find 2 before he gets taken out. And again, for UT Dallas, a pretty solid job of holding where they want to here for this P3 setup. 2 players already controlling the L side of the warehouse, plus 1 looking overhead. It's going to result in some free early time here for the Comets of UT Dallas.
Absolutely huge double kill coming through from Fiasco. Was holding down on bottom L. And Cocaine will trade out their life as well as Fiasco, but stopping that flood coming through the warehouse into Smokestack is massive. It allowed Mr. J Pistachio to take this top. Smokestack able to get that kill on the Loathing. Although the point is cleared off by way of Landon Semtax, that was a very, very good hold there from Texas Dallas right off the rip of P3. Their spawns are on the opposite side of where P5 is shift, and this is going to be really good for a retake if they decide to go in for scrap time. Might not be the wisest choice. They're starting to try to funnel into the office. They're getting dealt with quite handily, and now they're spawning inside the warehouse. Another good spawn to where you already see those maroon-ish arrows working their way around the office side. They are going to be met by Mataska, who will be traded out, but they're going to be setting themselves up for P4 here.
Again, trades back and forth. A lot of that scrap time did go in favor of Texas A&M Maroon, and how about that? A 5-man kill feed right there. And taking a look at our scoreboard really quickly, again, D-Lo, the SMG Maniac, 14-8. Looking really solid so far. 5 straight, I believe is what that says. Sure does. And Loathing has also been putting in a lot of work with the AR. He's 11-7, and this is not what you wanted from UT Dallas. You had the favored early setup for P4. You get absolutely blown up on the rotation, and not only have you lost the first 30 seconds, but you've also lost the spawns for P5. And Texas A&M Maroon starting to really run away with this one here early in the first rotation.
That'll be how they want to take this to the backside of the map, past the smokestacks. You can already see where all of UTD are located at inside the hard point, trying to get this scrap time, and well, you cannot blame them. Going to be putting 1 player to push on forward towards smokestacks, going to be met by a player up top. Mr. J Pistachio's in here now, an MP5. Going to be able to cover this for a moment's time. Good shots there from Putrid Orange. Just going to cover the top of smokestacks. This is just really well played out. Again, good map presence from Texas Dallas as we're about to be rotating into P5. It is currently in control for Texas A&M Maroon. You can see Texas Dallas working their way on the outside of office. They could get a really good hit here.
Yeah, if they find the kills, they can actually break through this, and there's a nice little double up for Fiasco, plus 2 more for Cocaine. That's 5 down, and UT Dallas at the 38-second mark will break through P5. An opportunity for them to get this last 30 seconds, which would do massive for them to get back into this ball game, because this first rotation of hills has been decisively all Texas A&M. But if they can scrap together these last 20 seconds, we'll be looking at essentially a 30-point game, which is extremely negligible. You already are actually seeing top right-hand side of your minimap. There's a player for UT Dallas that has already worked his way over to P2 in the tire shop. That's Putrid Orange. And if he could keep his life, maybe find a couple of kills while his teammates are pushing forward, not only could he potentially pinch this, but he might just flip the map and put the spawns into UT Dallas's favor.
A Fiasco will go down, trying to pressure around the smokestack side. There is a player up here. It's a Loathing. He's going to be working their way up the police car. This timing has to be perfect here from Putrid Orange. He's probably waiting for the communication to come through, but that's all from dead allies there this time around. Putrid Orange will finally peek out of the tire shop. Will find Loathing not looking the way of P2. Is now being contested. Good double kill from Putrid Orange, and you said it well there, my friend. Needed that kill. There's another player for Texas A&M Maroon that's working their way towards the tire shop. Multiple players from Texas Dallas will be going down, trying to join Putrid Orange over here, but now the spawns are on the side towards P2 for Texas Dallas.
And for UT Dallas, this comes at a slight bit of a cost of about what it will be essentially 30 seconds worth of hill time, but I think you're fine with it because you're going to be looking at essentially what is going to be a 190 to 108 game, but it puts you in the position to obviously potentially set up a full 60, and again, keep the differential only to about 20 or 30 points. It gives you a chance to come back through. Future Orange, again, zoning out the front with 2 kills, but you got to be a little bit careful here for UT Dallas. The Comets are getting a little bit aggressive as they're trying to set up a little bit further past the tire shop, and if they get wiped here, they very well easily could get broken.
It's just one sole player hanging out on top there as the rest of Texas Dallas try to secure the perimeter of P2. Able to get a couple of trades there, still encroaching forward, though. Texas A&M Maroon, we don't want this time to be going over to Texas Dallas, who are starting to diminish this lead ever so slightly, one hard point at a time. Now with 30 seconds left, this is starting to look like a really definitive capture so far. One player will be breaking up here. It is going to be Landon. Landon will be taking out 2 before finally going down. Future Orange will be able to get a second kill there and continue the hard point in the favor for Texas Dallas, and this is still really big. Don't forget that the third hardpoint rotation will be over to Smokestacks. You can already see the Texas A&M Maroon. They're giving up the scrap time, wisely so. They're going to be looking for these exit frags, finds one on a cocaine, and they're already set up for the next hardpoint.
And again, Loathing is now the player in a prime position with the M4. He's got to watch this mid-cross. He's looking over the top of this smoke. Will consider throwing a Semtex into it. He gets picked from behind. It's Inviage who pulled a little bit of a cheeky flank, and just like that, Cocaine jumps forward, and he and Inviage together will storm into the hill to get a little bit of an early break. Cocaine stays alive for one more. It will not influence the hill much, but more importantly, for UT Dallas, it takes time off the clock for Texas A&M. Now it comes down to if they can hit over the middle of the map successfully. The Aggies have put themselves right back on the hill. They'll eclipse the 200-point mark, and this next hit's going to be a big one here for the Comets.
That kill on Adilo was absolutely massive, but unable to turn that into map pressure. As you see, Mataska and Landon coming back with 3 in favor for Texas A&M Maroon. You're going to be able to walk away with the majority of P3, besides that stall time. Taking care of Adilo on that high ground might have opened up around the office side, but killing off the one player across made that thing all more difficult. Mr. J. Pistachio is trying to pull out a play there. 3 Texas A&M Maroon players looking at him will go down. Future Orange can't connect with their kill either. We're just down to rotating into P4, which is heavily contested by Texas A&M Maroon. Future Orange is going to try to get over this little jump peek over the box. Is able to find one. Is now able to get up to the high ground. Sounds like Dead Silence is active for this player. He's going to start working down the low ground. Can't see the player. Landon sees the toes and is able to get the kill.
That's absolutely massive for Texas A&M. The Aggies looking to put this one away right here. A great rotation from 3 to 4 for the second rotation in a row. 235 to 166. And it's all orange arrows, which, again, awkwardly enough, because our colors are backwards, will represent the Maroon squad. And with D'Lo finding himself 3, him and Landon are on 8 now straight between the 2 of them. And it looks like that'll be just about it for the Hackney Yard. Texas A&M Maroon with a beautiful mid-rotation between 3 and 4. Able to secure the 250 to 166.
I gotta respect the mid-map adaptation. UT Dallas ended up trying to take out a double M4, triple MP5 setup to try to meet the aggression with longer sightlines being held. Perhaps Mr. J. Pistachio trying to play that that off roll, that very in-your-face oppressive M4 style. Such one player named Condog definitely comes to mind off that match that we just saw. But it didn't work out. The oppression from D'Lo, Landon, Mataska coming in as well, and Justify, all those MP5s just ringing on way too true. Allow Loathing to have those very covenant longer lines of sight with their M4 being locked down was almost uncontested. It's just not what you want to see. But UT Dallas, they started coming back into there about halfway through just off of rotations alone. P2 comes to mind especially.
I mean, again, you're looking at Landon, D'Lo, Justify, 3 of the best SMGs in the CCL, and you put them on Hackney Yard Hardpoint. I don't think the expectations were much beyond what we just saw. And again, Mataska, who's, I guess, filling in for the 5th, and Luke, like you mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast here, still putting up good numbers. Again, all 5 players for the Aggies, all above 22, 23 kills, and no one getting above 30, so a good team effort across the board. I think 3 members had a minute plus or close to a minute plus of hill time as well. So again, a good overall team effort here for Texas A&M and for UT Dallas. They're going to be left wondering how exactly are we going to battle up against these SMGs when you get to Gunrunner S&D, because flat out, I mean, Cocaine and Inviage, I think both had around 31 total deaths individually. So if they're not able to win those upfront 1v1s against D'Lo and Landon, again, it's a tall task to ask. But it's one that, again, UT Dallas is going to have to overcome if they want to have a chance in this series.
And it's not like it's going to get any easier here. I mean,
no,
heading to Search and Destroy Gunrunner next, especially, it's not going to slow up the pace even for search and destroy. I mean, you could try to take out 2 M4s at that point too, but it's Gunrunner. I mean, up close and personal is what this map was made to be, especially for coming off a Hackney Yard. You're going to have to see quick adaptations coming through from UT Dallas if they want to try to take it to those MP5s, like you were saying, 3 of the best stacked on one team here is quite scary to be dealing with.
Absolutely.
Those longer lines of sight lines early on started paying off when Mr. J Pistachio was able to cut those flanks off, but once the interior of the map, once all those buildings started to be uncontested and D-Lo and Landon were able to control the offices, Top L also comes to mind for Hackney Yard. It was just so hard to take that map away from them too, and now I'm just getting pre-flashes of how we're going to see search and destroy. I mean, the boiler room, the showers, water, all the way from coal mines. It's just going to be so hard to get these MP5s out of there.
And that's the big thing. Again, success on Gunrunner, yeah, you get a couple of long lines of sight that are available to you, not only by the crates, but also, of course, as you go from coal looking to the train tracks. But yeah, like you mentioned, a lot of the influence of getting that B bomb site, whether you're retaking or taking it initially, comes down to the pressure your SMG players can grab. Can you get an SMG player offensively into bathrooms to try to open up some space? Could you even push them into the crate area? If Cocaine and Inviage aren't up to the task and they're not able to win those battles, it's going to be very difficult, I think, for this UTD squad to get their ARs in good position. So definitely a big question mark as far as that goes. On the other side, if I'm not mistaken, and my memory serves me correctly, which most of the time it doesn't, I'm pretty sure D-Lo was the main sniper for Vanity Alliance back in Black Ops 4. So you have to be careful about that potentially coming into play if this Texas A&M squad wants to pull out a sniper rifle, say, on offense every now and again.
Yeah, I mean, that offensive snipe can be well-timed, even for a close-range map like Gunrunner, but the slow, methodical game mode that is Search and Destroy could definitely see that come out to play across the tin side. Could be very scary. We will soon find out. We are on Gunrunner S&D. UT Dallas looked to make a little bit of a comeback off of Hardpoint, and I think that Putrid Orange has what it takes, man. They went 28-19 off that Hardpoint in a very devastating loss, especially where MP5s were reigning supreme for Texas A&M Maroon. And I think just with a little bit more backup and a little bit more slow surgical play, UT Dallas could really start putting in a dent here against Texas A&M Maroon. The only problem is it's a Texas A&M shift. I mean, they're S&D monsters.
Yeah, they really are. And a lot of the success that D-Lo and Landon have been able to pull throughout their careers, which have been a little bit short-lived, honestly, a little bit, the younger side, but making their moves has been through the S&D circuit. So for Texas A&M Maroon, setting up a pretty even split across the map here. A lot of players in the map, and again, you can see Inviage doesn't know what to look at right now. A lot of nades, a lot of bullets flying, and one player for A&M has already moved through Cole. That's Mataska who's here, a 1v1 versus Inviage. A lot of pre-fire going on back and forth. Neither one of these players will come on top of any real exchange of gunfire. Meanwhile, across the rest of the map, it's a 2-for-2 trade. Making a third as Justified gets involved. Mataska now realizing how he can make this flank work, and like that, Maroon able to surround, and the Aggies take the first defensive round.
Not hard committing to a bomb site or trying to go for that long poke just allowed Texas A&M to play their tempo, and well, that's really hecking fast, and that's how that flank comes to be. It's hesitation. We saw it 2 games ago. We're seeing it time and time again here in the CCL. You cannot hesitate. Got to be able to try to either make a play happen or try to fall back and play that poke game. Can't leave yourself out in the open. Not like that. And Texas A&M, we're going to have to see how they play out their offense. 2 players going straight through Boiler.
Oh, boy.
Elo going to be rushing into pins. Can they make this happen? There's the first kill on the Putrid Orange. That's a big first blood to start things off.
Oh, Dallas was not ready. D-Lo with 2 kills had already charged up Dead Silence. He hits it off the rip, finds a free kill. Now you got Mataska in the backline, but Pistachio will take down 2. An opportunity for him to fight up against Landon, which you saw from the overhead perspective. And then Viage will get the chance for the 1v1 to follow up. Landon jumping and bunny hopping will get the kill. And just like that, Texas A&M able to go up 2-0.
Lightning fast, too. And just like that opening push there from D-Lo, just and that's some of that lack of hesitation I was talking about. The decisive, okay, I have Dead Silence after 1 round. I'm just gonna go ahead and rush straight down through tins. They probably won't expect it. And well, hey, Texas Dallas, they sure as heck wouldn't. Cocaine's at 0-2, has yet to find a kill thus far. But with Landon at 4-1, again, we are down to be looking at D-Lo and Landon for Texas A&M Maroon. These MP5s are being an absolute thorn in the side, and they're digging in even deeper. Set nade right there is going to find a lot of information. Yeah. 1 player, Putrid Orange, right outside of office. Cocaine, however, with a good entry 2-piece, is going to be able to start things off. There's a nice, well-trained shot. Finds 3 now after Davis actually goes in. How about 4? It's just D'Lo left now for Texas A&M Maroon. And where's they hiding?
That's Cocaine saying, okay, D'Lo, you want to play a couple of dead solid push games? Cocaine comes through and gets the ace?
Wow.
Okay.
Hi, how are you?
We don't see much of that, but what a play. And I don't mean to make the pun, but Cocaine looking cracked out in that round. It was there, Andy. I had to take it.
No, I probably would have said, if I was talking at the time, I probably would have said the same damn thing. I'm not going to lie. 5-2, Cocaine finds themselves. I'm sorry. I just ended up saying, I was like, he doesn't have a kill, walking in around number 3, walks in with an ace. Well, my bad is now +3. Set nade from Cocaine, feeling the hot hand now. Gonna get hit with another set nade. Throws in their tactical towards the boiler. A good rush coming through from Texas A&M through the office, out of the vents. Look at this hit coming through from A, but shots will be able to come through, but not the full kills. Landon and Justify find 2 players of Texas Dallas, now Peach Orange, heavily on the flank. Looks to go all the way back around this depot.
This is tough right here, Andy, flat out. I mean, this rotation is really the only play they have available to them, and it's not a good option.
Oh, you gotta get this kill.
Putrid not able to finish. Pistachio there to get the final trade-off. But again, everybody knows where these last 2 players are. Putrid will find one more. Pistachio with a chance on the loathing. It will get shut down, and that'll be the Aggies with a very nice setup towards A, catching UT Dallas completely off guard, and they still retain their 2-round advantage.
Just zapping all of that momentum that UT Dallas were probably feeling in their comms off Cocaine's ace. Just absolutely throwing it back in their face with a Blitzkrieg A rotation all the way through Dark. And, well, again, this is a team, Texas A&M, that clearly have the decisive pushes in mind. They know exactly what they want right off a rip. Find themselves a 2-point lead here. So it was Texas Dallas' Blitzkrieg offense that won them the previous round.
Yeah. This is another look, though.
And Cocaine isn't Boiler alone, but look at this defensive hold. They don't want Cocaine to feel comfortable here.
And this is, again, just another swap up, and you just wonder if Dallas is ready for this whatsoever. You mentioned Cocaine needs to play big. He finds the first kill. He realizes he could be getting pressured. The bomb goes down very wisely for UT Dallas, and there's a player all the way in the back. Is that Mr. J's Pistachio in the very left side of your minimap? He'd be number 1 if we could get a chance to see where he is. It is, and he finds a pistol kill on a Mataska. It's Pistachio who's sniping, had an opportunity for a second. We'll go back to the pistol again, but not able to find the kill on the Landon. But the space is well appreciated, although Landon will take down one more. So don't rule him out. That's until Enviage steps up to the plate. But I don't know if it was an awareness call for Dallas, but they read Texas A&M's push through the coal. They get the bomb down quickly, and they push through for a post-plant setup. Very well adapted for UTD.
I just think the timing was almost there, too. You saw that push coming through Dark towards Coles. Even if winning that 1v1 versus Cocaine, the communication was there. There was a play in Boiler going towards Water. It's either you try to push that or you try to reset up for something else because you lost numbers at that point. It's a sheer gusto trying to make that push happen, knowing that you could probably win the gunfight. And not when that space is being well held. Set nades coming out from both sides yet again. 3-2, Texas A&M. Clothing has the bomb. Coming out from Boiler, won't be able to die. Cocaine getting away with their lives. Featured Orange finds a Semtex on a Justify.
Cocaine must have had like a 7th gear because he just downshifted and then just got out of dodge until Landon takes his scalp off. And now numbers for Texas A&M towards the B bomb site potentially, although you got to watch out. There is a player actually working over towards A. Would not be surprised if that's D'Lo. No, it's Mataska, who ends up saying, okay, not thinking about this anymore. I'll come back towards my teammates. D'Lo finds one as he pushes through the crates, and this is a disastrous scenario here for UT Dallas. They've lost crate control, and now the bomb gets planted behind this push for the Aggies.
Gonna have to be a very good rotation coming through. There's a player working their way right outside through the office. Putrid Orange will trade out their lives right outside Tins. Mr. J Pistachio tries to make some magic happen over by where Putrid Orange just went down previously. Now it comes down to Fiasco. It's got a flank and a dream. I mean, at this point, Texas A&M Maroon, it's just by proxy. They have to know where this player's coming from. Not this time around. Low thing will go down, but the communication's right there. Time not on the side. Got to get these kills, and unable to do so in such a timely fashion. Texas A&M put themselves 2 up once again.
And again, you know, I'll just mention it because it's coming out on stream here. The EMP drone from Mr. J Pistachio, again, it's a free ping of the map. But unfortunately, when he pulls it out right there, he's not in a spot to stay safe with the tablets out, but beyond that, his teammates aren't really close to help trying to isolate any players that he gets info on. So, there's some work to be done there, but I definitely think there is a conversation point for it. I don't believe it's been even mentioned, so I don't think it's G8. It is CDL allowed. And I will tell you, the free information, it's a free lightning strike. You don't have to earn it outside of just waiting for it. So there's an opportunity there. Both players having a little bit of a mirror matchup here between D'Lo and Cocaine. Meanwhile, over by the B bomb side, a little bit more of a vicious exchange as Texas A&M will find themselves on top. But the bomb has been dropped, and Inviage will once again draw things up 3-on-3.
Good trades there mid-map. Cocaine getting away with their life. Not this time around. Landon helping things out for Texas Dallas, though. Mataska bringing that right back around. Now it's Mataska and Landon versus Mr. J Pistachio, who's working their way around shower side. It's going to be dead silence popped here. Landon did not hear anything. There's a dead silence there. Can't get the 1v1 that J Pistachio wanted. Landon's going to come out on top of that one, putting themselves on map point 5-2.
And I'm wondering, because again, like this is just a conversation for a conversation's sake, but the EMP drone does take a lot longer to charge up. And again, I think that Pistachio just earns it once and then puts it away and puts dead silence into effect, just because it's. I would imagine it's probably pretty rare to get multiple EMP drones. Maybe you get 2 per search and destroy, but if you're not having a pop-off game, I can't imagine a world where you find a third one. At least not in a scrappy battle like this one. Again, 5-2 the score. Cocaine first blood. Putrid Orange goes to an M4, looking over the top towards Orange window. First couple of bullets exchanged, one in favor of Landon, but he's not able to fully win the fight. Cocaine will follow up into the bathrooms, and now an opportunity for Texas A&M to potentially try to swing things back in what is now a 2v4, make it a Landon v. the world, as he'll be by himself here. We'll find Pistachio, but he's going to get shot at from multiple angles. Trying to keep his life for as long as possible, which is not very long, and the Comets will bounce back, but still need another 3-round straight to take the map.
Very tall order to ask, but push their backs against the wall. They might be able to bite on back, and Texas Dallas putting up in a double M4 combo. Able to slow things up and come out on top. And this is what I was talking about previously from the hard point. Slowing things up, allowing Mr. J Pistachio to take a more oppressive angle into these bouts. That silence in play as well, coming into their offense this time round. Has to be big. Cocaine's at 9-6, leads their team in kills. I mean, you take a look at Texas A&M, we're 10-5 for Landon. They're finding a lot of value. Mataska has been finding a lot of value on the flank, as well as loathing on these longer sight lines. Landon has an M4 on defense. It's going to be on top of Tins. Will drop down, whether they meant to or not.
Yeah, I don't think
we'll
they meant to.
I like this pace change.
Yeah. He doesn't get punished for dropping. Here comes a play. Oh my goodness, Landon. Okay, he's going to see one more coming as he shoulder peeks across. Gives an opportunity for Lothing to find a kill. And Putrid, who wanted to plant the bomb, realizes, I got to help my team with the kills. Fortunately, Texas A&M will assist by killing one of their own, but it's Putrid v. the world. Now a 1v2 scenario. He does have the bomb to work with. And with freeing some space through the boiler area, he may have an opportunity to get the bomb down at A. Got a Semtex to work with, but with 60 seconds to play, it really comes down to, can he find a way to make this play happen?
Justifies perfect. Ooh, gets away with their life, but pushing through the boiler room. Got to be running a little bit faster there. I like this. Does have 49 seconds now to be playing with. Justify is going to be pushing through boiler here. The door wasn't closed, so no sound cue going to be coming through. You see Loathing working their way through the office. Not. Oh, you got to get those shots to connect. Giving away their life. That's a good tag there from the Semtex. Justify has to back up. That's going to be an information given, but take a look at where the rest of Texas A&M are holding. They could end up bottlenecking where Putrid Orange is going to be playing at, turning around, trying to hold boiler. This gives Texas A&M the timing to turn around. You got to win this. You got to get the kill. You can't. Putrid Orange. Twice over. Kills that should have been right there.
This isn't going to look pretty. Close your eyes. This turnaround's not going to look pretty if you're a Putrid Orange fan right here. Justify is going to go
Oh, man. I felt that one in my soul.
I tensed up a little bit there, brother. Not going to lie to you.
Yeah, I think we all did. I think we all did. Including all of Texas A&M. I can't believe that. But, again... We find ourselves on map point. It's Texas A&M Maroon. And, well, there's a reason why they're first here in the West Division. Yeah. Two former pro players that played on the CWL circuit last season. So, I mean, you bring those shots, you bring that knowledge, you bring that game sense and that veteran capability. It's pretty hard to deal with, though. Texas Dallas are able to take a few rounds off of this team, able to show that practice and, well, again, put them against the wall. They're able to bite back ever so slightly, but again, not able to follow through all the way.
And as we look back at our series set, and we're going to be continuing on, it was a 250 to 166 for the Aggies on Hackney Yard Hardpoint. That one will read as a 6-3 for history's sake. And like you mentioned, Hackney Yard Domination will be up next. And man, I just, you wonder who had which picks. And candidly speaking, I know really nobody enjoys playing on St. Petro right now, but maybe you should have banned Hackney Yard. I feel like just simply due to the fact that, again, these very well could be the 3 best SMGs in the CCL.
I mean, yeah, just
Landon,
knowing who you're going up
Justify. Yeah, I mean, it's just tough. I mean, to play on an arena like this, it's really asking a lot of Cocaine and Viage to really kind of step up Putrid Orange as well, to mark themselves up against these World Championship caliber players is definitely a tough ask. And again, that's why I think you see a 0K for map 4 as going to maybe favor UT Dallas if they can get there maybe a touch more, but it's such a tall ask, I think, for this squad of, you know, we were talking to Pistachio a bunch at the beginning of the year. He wasn't sure if he could even find 5 players to make this UT Dallas squad happen. He ends up finding a pretty incredible team individually, to say the least, but again, it's a different caliber of player when you're going up against a Dilo and a Landon, again, with World Championship experience.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, but all that practice aside, too, I mean, you got to still be feeling confident. I mean, here we find Texas Dallas, like you were saying, Mr. J. Pistachio, not feeling confident in their team week 1. Well, now you find yourselves with the 4 wins up. That one loss in this West Division may not be the end-all be-all. So what? You make top 8. You still make through playoffs. You then take this as a learning experience. What can we learn from getting our butts handed to us ever so slightly? But go back to those rounds that you did something well, going against stronger teams that are more well-versed and being able to snuff out a lot of different of those cheeky plans. Maybe they might end up working. Maybe you get cheekier, such as that one offensive push that we saw from Texas A&M Maroon pretty early on, where they just rushed all the way through A and still forcing their way through, even seeing all the players of Texas Dallas, just outnumbering them and outgunning them, forcing their way in there. A very cheeky play that caught all of us off guard, but Texas A&M were able to come out on top of that. And it's all thanks to a well-versed AR player, which Texas Dallas do have in Mr. J. Pistachio. So with that in mind, I think that Texas Dallas are definitely still on the right track, though this matchup very hard for them. They are making really good waves here in week 3 heading on forward.
And beyond that, you kind of take a look at the day as a whole. Again, we started the day with Humber. They found a 3-0. We then watched Concord find themselves a 3-0 versus what a lot of people had thought was a top 10 team in the Illini Orange squad. And now here again, Texas A&M potentially looking at a 3-0. So the number 1 through number 3 in our top 25 about to stay not only on the 3-0 fashion. And I guess the question becomes, you know, as you've had a time to, obviously we cast it over the Humber-Lambton game, but as we had a chance to sit and watch Concord play up against this Illini squad, does your top 3 change any if a 3-0 also occurs here for Texas A&M?
You could definitely throw things into proportion. You know, I even was writing down pre-show notes that, you know, even if Texas Dallas were able to take off one map too, they would still be in that same place that I was keeping them within that running. Obviously, Texas and A&M are still up there. I would still love to see them face off, you know, against stronger teams. We might not end up seeing that until even playoffs are concerned too. But you know, with that being said too, I think even today as a whole still throws a lot of different power rankings into a whole bunch of different questions coming off of that Concord Maroon match alone. Speaking of that from the LSU match that we previously saw, also kind of throwing things around too, not how I expected that matchup to go. Hackney Yard Domination will be the next one. We are waiting for the players to be loading in here as well, Shift, but just to push the envelope even further, that Texas Dallas were able to find a little bit of value on is their MP5s, but not with each other, right? You ended up having Putrid Orange that with 28 and 19 on the hard point there. You see 250 to 166 in a loss, 6-3 in that loss. But then you have Cocaine that found themselves an ace in round 3, went 9-7 for the round, leading their team in kills. But imagine if they were all fluid together, that if they were able to win out their 1v1s together, how much more space Mr. J. Pistachio would be able to find themselves with. And that's exactly what Loathing is finding with Texas A&M Maroon because of D'Lo and Landon being absolutely oppressive.
Yeah, you bring up valid points all the way across the board. We're just about to start things up here for Hackney Yard. You're welcome. It's casual banter here between the two casters.
I like to feel smart sometimes.
You do that pretty regularly, so hopefully that's you. Getting into this one though, again, I'm also taking a look at this UT Dallas squad. They found a pretty hefty surprise versus Arizona State early. They're able to also take down Abilene Christian before they backed out. Also had a close call versus UT Arlington, and then had a little bit of fun versus Tulsa. But you look at the rest of this Western Division, you got Utah currently undefeated, Oregon undefeated, Grossmont also undefeated, and then behind that, Colorado Springs, also only with a single loss so far. And you kind of wonder if any of those teams could potentially take down this Texas A&M squad, because currently, I mean, until we get the playoffs, that's the end of it, right? I mean, there's nobody else that they'll really be playing up against. I mean, this Arizona State squad, I don't think would be able to stand up to this Texas A&M team. But I mean, until playoffs, this might be the best test for Texas A&M.
I honestly don't see them dropping a map anytime soon. Shift. We'll find out though. We are back here on Hackney Yard. Domination will be the final map here. Texas A&M Maroon looking to keep their win-loss for maps clean and their series as well. They are at 4-0, I believe. The lossless map schedules or map so far. I mean, it's just scary to go up against as a whole. And like you said, this might be their biggest test within the West Division. Only time will tell. I have to see how the domination plays out. It will be Texas A&M Maroon holding off on the C flag side, where UT Dallas get the favorite A.
Justified looking to make maybe a pinch happen up top. We'll find one at a Putrid Orange. Now he's instead of going to go top L, going to sit on top of the AC area. Fiasco very wisely just sitting on top of White Crate. We'll find the trade-off, and one more player for UT Dallas in the comments will secure the B flag. And with this, now Texas A&M from the unfavored side of the map has to find a way in. Envia's cheeky little spot just to play for some contest. He's got to watch out. That might be a little bit too close for comfort. Two players now on the flag. He's going to find one into Justify. One more to his left was Loathing, and that will be enough for the trade. But is it enough for the full flip of the point? That's the bigger question. Loathing with a second, looking to make his way maybe outside for a third. We'll decide to go on back and fully neutralize B and start to get some capture percentage here for the Aggies.
He would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for that darn Semtex and that meddling Loathing, that's for sure. But, again, getting the B here, we're going to have to see what Texas A&M Maroon want to do with this positioning. They are putting one player forward towards police cars. Will turn around that corner. Able to find 2 kills. That's justified with the MP5. Will get traded out by Viage, working their way back through the mid-scoop. It's still a CB hold here. One player spawning in top of Office for Texas Dallas. But they got to be able to turn something around with this map pressure. Mr. J Pistachio not being able to win out that engagement versus Loathing from afar. And, well, this is starting to look pretty commanding as Texas A&M Maroon start forcing Texas Dallas back towards their spawn. Just by sliding back out, finds one player trying to go up the ladder, unable to do so as well. They're the good team shots to help out Justify from Loathing. And, well, back into the spawn yet again. You see Texas Dallas. They are spawning out towards C. They do get the flip, but this allows Texas A&M Maroon to get the Covenant A flag.
Justify working on his 10th kill, while meanwhile, he's got more kills than 4 players of UT Dallas now combined. And it's been an electric start here for the Aggies as they will clear up some of the progress that was made on the B flag. And meanwhile, they've also, of course, flipped the spawns around. UT Dallas looking to make a solo play to get the C neutralization just to create some space over by the A spawns, but they end up losing it because of that play. And now D'Lo, the next one up to try to hold on to this B flag for a time. It looks like the point will stay contested. Fiasco looking to flip around, but nobody tracks down Justify up top, and he will hold on to the B flag before it gets neutralized.
12-4. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first half. And Justify is just absolutely frolicking through this entire map of Hackney Yard so far, and doing quite well with it too. Is being traded out there as Fiasco is the only kill in the previous of a lighting kill feed there from Texas A&M. Focuses down, stopping that Semtex. Trying to contest D'Lo here in top L. Be able to push him down for the time being. Being contested into the mid, however. Fiasco's able to find a kill on the Landon. Justify's right there to help out. Putrid Orange being able to get this kill on top L. This might be the B pressure that they need. It goes to neutral so far, Shift. You see Texas A&M, they're starting to flood on in. Putrid Orange really needs to make this positioning something magical. It's incredibly low. Doesn't have enough time for the regen to start proccing, and will go down.
And again, at that point, you need to play your life a little bit better. You pin that up to like how Crooked would play that situation. You just back away, right? You're the only player who's left. Your teammates are all gone. And instead, Future Orange decides to go forward. And of course, that's not going to pay off too well for you, as it looks like now UT Dallas wants to make a hit potentially towards the A side of the map. Big 1v1 here, and Stilo falls to Mr. J Pistachio. Meanwhile, it's a 1v1, I think, for Putrid over towards the A flag. He's won himself one. Looking for a second, doesn't get his gun up in time. Pistachio was able to help out for one kill on the cross, but the threat for now has been minimized by the Aggies.
One player left over here on A. One player starting to work their way over here. Mataska will be able to kill Enviage. There's another player from Texas Dallas. They're really trying to commit to this AC hole, but no player from Texas Dallas guarding their home flag. This is starting to look like a three-cap here. This is looking pretty scary so far. Fiasco able to come in and clean up on the kill onto Mataska, but this is all dedicated time and resources. AK Man headed back over to C flag to where they could be sending men over to the B flag shift. This is very unfortunate, and although the neutralization comes over to A, to what avail? Texas A&M, they get their map pressure back. They're back in the top L. They have players spawning out in office, and all Texas Dallas ended up coming out of there was what? A neutralization on the A?
And with that, again, the big moment there was 3 players spawned up by the C flag, and 2 of them went back just to make sure they captured the C flag. They didn't put any pressure, like you mentioned, at all to the B warehouse. So they're a little bit short-handed when it comes to trying to get a second influence on another hill. And with this, it's a 90 to 57-point lead currently for Texas A&M as we approach the final 60 seconds. This is where you would expect to see some aggressive plays coming through. Will the Aggies go for maybe a triple cap here? Can UT Dallas find a way to secure a second flag before the halftime? D'Lo looking out towards phone booth. Will catch one up top. Goodness, you need to win that fight if you're Putrid Orange. I think he was also shooting at another player from beyond, though, so we'll give him a little bit of a pardon there. But regardless, the Aggies, again, still just swarming all over the mid-map, not giving an inch away to the comments of UT Dallas.
Good help there from Fiasco top L, although Landon is just having an absolute field day. 18 and 8, 14 and 7, 13 and 10 from Mataska. Justifies at 15 and 13, 18 and 11. And this is just absolute craziness coming out. And although Texas Dallas do find themselves in a series of kills, the one player that you got to be looking at is Enviage. Enviage is an MP5 player that hasn't been able to find a lot of value, especially in the mid-map rotations. It is again able to find one kill, but it's at the end of the round. You almost wish that came a hell of a lot sooner. One thing also to notice, Texas Dallas on that second quarter shift started going back to that double M4 triple MP5 setup that we saw at the end of Hardpoint here on Hackney Yard, which is where they are attempting to slow up the pace and the tempo for Texas A&M, but it's not really working because the MP5 shots from all of the players of Texas A&M Maroon are just as deadly as Landon's M4 shots from afar.
And that's what I was about to say. Like, if you're going to go to a double M4 setup here for UT Dallas, what are you giving up? You got to ask yourself that question. You're giving up the ability to contest the warehouse, essentially, because you need an extra SMG, you would feel, to help that push out. So as we lose our stats, as what typically seems to happen at the halftime, we'll swap over to their lovely player profile images. Landon, First Blood, Justify following up all that action happening over towards the B warehouse. And again, from the favorite side now, the Aggies very quickly looking to get 2 flags in their favor.
And because of the flip, I see Texas A&M. And we'll be starting off on the A side and wisely pushing all the way through B with the kills to boot. They're able to fend off the flood thus far from Texas Dallas. Mr. J Pistachio will be able to get the regen. The peep coming through there. Loathing snaps on a Putrid on bottom L after killing Fiasco on the top side. Going to be a nade thrown in there. Cocaine kills Enviage with their Semtex. But how about Loathing? Finds themselves, I believe this is 3 if not 4 straight. Just commanding over here in the B-Dom site. Horizontal trophy system, their setup shop. That's good information right there.
It's great information. And again, Loathing can just stay down here, watch a player come across. That's Cocaine who keeps his gun up first, but D'Lo with the trade. Mataska trying to watch mid-map, just some ambitious shots coming out with the MP5 that won't find any kind of success. But again, this is the problem for UT Dallas. They're just not able to work into this warehouse really whatsoever. You got to put one of your M4s up top into the green office, you feel like, but where do you put the other one? To influence this B flag, there's not a lot of space left. You know, and I know a lot of the CCL teams are using 2 M4 setups on Dom, but there's a reason why the CDL teams are sticking with just 1 M4 more often than not, and it's for reasons like this. A lot of close quarters battles, and when you pick up a second M4, it becomes extremely difficult to make that decision of, hey, I'm going to take this non-optic M4 into a close quarters battle and hope I win it.
Yeah, I mean, if you have A, it makes a little bit more sense, right? You can put an M4 on the police car, and then you can put another M4 on top of the ladder looking into the warehouse. But Dilo getting a little bit spicy over here with the dance moves. Quick footwork, won't be able to get it the second time around. Future Orange will kill off Dilo, but again, trade's not in the favor, not enough for Texas Dallas to be able to get any sort of map pressure. Future Orange was commanding the office side. Cocaine has found themselves inside the warehouse, able to take down Landon. Here comes the flood off the respawn. Will be a good pincer hit. One player on top that's going to attempt to get a kill from top L. Mataska goes down because of it, and it's going to be a good neutralization and maybe even a capture. If Dilo can get this kill, would be huge. Can't stop it, however. Cocaine, you gotta win that one. An AC hold for the time being, Texas A&M, but they're clearing off every single location on this map right now.
Yeah, this is a tough scenario. We're entering into the fourth quarter here in the next 24 seconds, and it's a 64-point lead for Texas A&M. So again, 36 points per minute. If you capture all three, you do the math of how many minutes that UT Dallas need to find a full capture, and that just does not seem very realistic when things like that are happening from Justify.
Oh my!
Sign him up for a sixth in a row here, as he's going to be looking back towards the A flag for more. We'll stay on his POVs. He's looking for number 7 and number 8. He won't get a chance to duel them up. But still, a big moment there for Justify, just showcasing why exactly this A&M Aggie squad is as good as they are.
It very much so could be close to being mathematically impossible. I'm no mathematicician myself. It is an AC hold for the time being. Texas Dallas, no member was holding the C flag. There's a missed opportunity for Texas A&M Maroon, but they, Texas A&M at this point, they want that A flag. Even when they started off on C, they still fought their way back to A flag. They will put Justify on here to neutralize it and recap it. This allows Texas Dallas to flood in through top L and try to get a little bit more map pressure here onto the B-Dom flag site. But you see the respawns coming in for Texas A&M. They're going to be able to get themselves back in here. Dilo will be missing, pulls out the knife, able to get the kill on a Future Orange. My goodness, sir, you really got to end up killing Dilo right there.
And again, you just kind of wonder who could take this squad down. Out of the West, I don't think anybody is going to be up to the task. And I think you're looking at Concord, Humber, and boy, I don't even know where else to go after that. As far as who might be able to contest with this squad, maybe Georgia Southern could give him a fight, but I think even beyond that, you're looking at maybe 4 teams, and I think in each of those instances, it would be a bit of a stretch to think that they individually match up on paper.
Right.
And it's going to take, and hopefully this is a bit of a wake-up call for some of those squads that, are in divisions like the Midwest is looking pretty free right now for Concord. The Northeast looking pretty free for Humber. You better start looking towards playoffs if you're both of those teams if you want to have a chance at, for Humber's sake, repeating, being the back-to-back champs of the CCL. This team is absolutely disgusting.
Oh, God. And that was even more filthy, too. Cocaine not being able to kill Justify, who pulled off a pistol. And again, who the heck is going to stop this squad? I mean, again, you could even raise up the question, like Georgia Southern maybe could put up a good fight. But we even chalked this up that Texas Dallas was going to put up a pretty good fight against Texas A&M Maroon. And I'm not going to lie, I mean, they really did. They really put up a good fight across the scoreline. Sure. Yeah, there were a lot of good bright spots there. And it just goes to show, I mean, being students first, followed by collegiate Call of Duty players second, with all this practice that Texas Dallas has put underneath the hood of their car, they look amazing across from all of the professional experience that you have powering Texas A&M Maroon. This is what hard work and dedication looks like, ladies and gentlemen. Texas Dallas were able to put a good dent into Texas A&M Maroon that you almost think that if the mechanical skill was 1-to-1, that they would have been a very close fight right here.
There have been a lot of instances, I think, if you look back at this one, where you see that this Dallas squad definitely had some things to offer for the matchup. But the scoreline, I still think, generally speaks for itself as far as how much of a mismatch this still was. We'll take a look at it here as we get our final 3 seconds. Texas A&M Maroon will obviously take the win here in 3-0 fashion. The scoreline here will read as a 217 to 149. And I think you're going to see the initial scoreboard here as soon as we get past the play of the game. Is going to be essentially pretty lopsided in the kill department, which is, again, remember that was the case at the respawn. 31 deaths for both Cocaine and Enviage. Again, it just goes to show what the slaying department looks like. Yeah, 19 and 37 for Cocaine, who is a very good player. Landon drops a 40 bomb, going 40 and 22. Loathing at 30 and 18. I mean, again, it's just across the board. You had 4 players over 30 kills, and Mataska wasn't too far behind him. The sheer outslaying potential was just too much for UT Dallas to match up with, I think, here today. But like you mentioned, there were some good moments there for UT Dallas, and I still think when you look at the Western Division as a whole, you should be feeling pretty confident in your ability to at least finish top 3, if not potentially be the number 2 team out here. But again, you have to go through a number of great teams. You still got Oregon, Grossmont in this, and Utah, all of which have not suffered a loss yet. So, and again, those were not against necessarily the easiest opponents so far. They've been doing well against the middle of the pack. So for UT Dallas, I think there's obviously some things to still work on. But for Texas A&M, you're still very comfortable, and I think you should still feel very comfortable at you being the number 1 team after this weekend's polls.
Oh, totally. You know what team comes to mind? You can go and take a look at how the scoreline brought us here in this final 3-0 of the 4th match of today. This comes to mind for Knoxville, another match that we had earlier today. You remember this, the unfortunate 3-0 that they suffered, but was able to come back against LSU. Maybe not as strong as a team as some of the other ones that you just listed that we could see UT Dallas going up against. But this lesson, these learnings that this could end up coming against, could favor Texas Dallas that, could be a top 2, top 3 team at the end here inside the division, could make a really good playing into the playoffs. That they should definitely count the blessing here as this early matchup came through here in week 3 for them, that they could take this learning experience and be able to walk away with it too, because we know this team is full of grinders. We know that they hit hard on the chalkboard and inside the game as well. And for a team like Texas A&M Maroon, they might have to be looking out for Texas Dallas later on down the road.
I mean, I think the bigger task is, once you start getting the playoffs, I think the A&M squad, I think if you're looking at anybody, again, really kind of
Concord,
giving a run for their money, you're looking at Concord, you're looking at Humber, you're looking at Georgia Southern. I think that's probably the really only givers, that will give them a run for their money there. And those are the 3 top teams currently in the other divisions. Mm-hmm. Again, if you're joining us here at the CCL late, you're dealing with 4 divisions of 18 teams, each totaling up to 72 at the start of everything. And Texas A&M, I think, is, of course, now showcased us exactly why they're the best. And I know, again, maybe the caliber of opponent, not necessarily up to the task of A&M, but still, you're seeing flashes of why this A&M squad is so good when you've got Landon, D'Lo, and Justify that are doing that, let alone the fact that you had Matasko, I believe, subbed in late to the roster here for the match this evening and still put up that good of a performance. Imagine what these guys are able to do when they're playing regularly in a tournament scenario like playoffs will provide for them. You feel like, they're probably not putting in a lot of effort, Landon and D'Lo specifically, getting ready for, Path to Pro Challenger stuff. But we're playing, those little adjustments and corrections that their teammates are going to be making are going to really pay off. And I think that's going to be a really tall task for any of these teams in the CCL to match up again.
Oh, absolutely. That's where that veteranship comes in. That's where that all of that different experience comes into play. I mean, if these players were already alone, star-studded enough through mechanical skill, through their macro skill, through Black Ops 4 to be picked up by CDL teams, you can only imagine the amount of waves and pressure that they're going to be able to come on through. Just like you said, when it's a full day of Call of Duty, when it's a full day with a Texas A&M Maroon squad, they're going to be following these veteran star-studded players. It's going to get very scary to see the adaptations that come through from Texas A&M Maroon when the fire's underneath them for a change.
Yeah, absolutely the case. But that pushes us through 3 weeks of broadcast coverage here with the CCL. Of course, this upcoming weekend is CDL London if you're an early riser. Otherwise, you can catch both Proper and myself casting at AGN Charlotte, which will be happening this upcoming weekend. So if you're looking for more Call of Duty action, you can find it there. If you're looking to get involved in playing more Call of Duty action, if you're feeling like, hey, I've been watching the stream, I could beat these guys. Well, it's good for you because we've got ourselves a CCL Discord bot that's currently running ranked 10s. All you got to do is register for it, join up into the lobbies, and you will get matched up, and a couple of ELO points will either be given or taken away from you, depending on if you win or lose a map. It was been popping all week long, and it's open to anybody to join. So !Discord, I believe, will get you there. And until next time, till next Tuesday, I hope you folks have a wonderful and safe weekend, all you crazy college kids. Until then, hope you all keep holding it down. So long.